regulate the mental. Time to strategize, cuddle up, where's your circle? I can feel the movement radiate through the convo. Talk is cheap, turn your faith into work. I drink my second cup and put my hands in the dirt. 2 cups, drinking straight drip from the earth. Caffeinated conversations, you heard them here first. One for the wake up. One for the wake up. 2 for the work. Caffeinated conversations, you heard them here first.
Welcome back to 2 Cups Cafe. I am your host, Alan C. Jackson, and coming through today, I got a very, 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 very special guest. No, I'm not trying to butter her up, but it is my other half. They call me 2 Cups, and I just don't named her Mocha Maya. What's up, Maya?
What's up?
So Maya is my beloved wife. We've been married almost 27 years in December. And man, we just come from, if you ever heard the saying opposites attract, oh
Absolutely.
man, we are the opposites.
Absolutely.
I'm hip hop. She's old school 80s rock, R&B, a little bit Michael Jackson, a little bit Hall and Oates, you know what I mean?
Jazz.
Jazz, a little
that
jazz.
little bit in
Yeah,
there.
you grew up to the jazz. I'm talking about how you came up. You was born in the 70s, but you was an 80s baby. So tell me what it was like growing up in the 80s.
Wow. I mean, like, everything was changing, like, quick. So it's like, when we were young, it was like, we had pagers and this, that, and other. And all of a sudden, everybody's got to have a phone.
Right.
We don't even have payphones anymore.
Right. I remember having to go to payphone because, a lot of times our phone got cut off. But you probably had the house phone with the big long cord.
Yep. And you got to wait for you to dial. Yeah, so for each number. But, so things changed really, really quick after the 80s.
For sure. So you grew up in the 80s, and then, like, what were your goals and aspirations growing up, and what did you wind up doing after high school?
Okay, actually, I wanted to be a fashion designer and a bodybuilder. I don't know how that was going to work together.
Okay.
But I ended up going to the Army, and because my parents was like, either you go to college and go to work, or you go to the military. And then I felt like the GI Bill was going to get me through school.
Okay. So you pretty much felt like you was running out of time. You had to make a quick decision.
Absolutely.
So before you went to the Army, did you like grow up thinking like I'm gonna go to the Army, or was it one of those things you met a recruiter, or did your parents?
I met a recruiter, and I had to lose weight though to get in because they have weight limits and that you have to follow.
So you say you had to lose weight. Did you feel like you were overweight, or you were overweight just by their standards?
Well, I was overweight, definitely, because I always had issues with weight. Growing up, I'd been in diet doctors, had to go every day, get a shot, and this, that, and the other. But that was when I was trying to get in the military. So, but eventually I lost the weight. The recruiter used to run with me and everything, and eventually I got up in there.
So I know like a lot of times, we don't get to it, but you grew up, your mom, she took real good care of you, and she put you in some different schools outside of the inner city school setting. So you went to school with a lot of other racial backgrounds and things of that nature. And you saying that you struggled with your weight, and a lot of times you were the only minority around. How did that play to your self-esteem or your body image back then? Or did you even think about it?
I thought about it, but it was more about TV, what was shown on TV and in magazines and that. But it was more like a disconnect from people at school because the black kids, they were like in a certain neighborhood, and I wasn't in that neighborhood. And then the white kids, they were with other Caucasians, but I pretty much was a loner.
You was a loner?
Because my mom, she used to work nights. So I would have to come home, and she would be gone to work. And then in the morning, I would have to get myself together and get myself, off to school and walk to school.
Okay, so you came through high school, your high school experience, went to the military, and what was the biggest change from the military from what you were used to?
I was free.
Okay.
I was free because
I thought you was about to talk about discipline and stuff. You talking about you was free.
No, I was free. It wasn't no discipline comparable to my parents.
So your parents were old school, or
Oh yeah, they were real strict.
they were real
I
strict?
couldn't leave the house. I couldn't have nobody at the house when they weren't at home. And my dad, he would only come home once mom was about to be at home. So I was watching TV, get my homework done real quick, watch some TV. Always in bed by 9 because I couldn't not get my 8 hours.
Okay. So military, tell me about basic. Tell me about your first assignment.
I only had one assignment because I wasn't in there that long before I got pregnant and came back home. I was in there for basic. It was just, you just had to do it. Just do it. But I had one drill sergeant that he used to get on my nerves. So it was like one time I had, I have spit shine your shoes and this, that, and the other. Well, I'm thinking I'm going to take the easy way out. And I done already heard what the easy way he does.
Okay.
So I'm going to go and put some shoe polish on my stuff, right?
Okay.
My stuff classed, right? So I'm like, okay. So a couple days, that thing started cracking up. My drill sergeant was heated. He threw my boots out the window during inspection. So, yeah, I had some good experiences. Even the ones that, like, things like that was good experiences for me.
Okay.
So, but I ended up going to Germany, Darmstadt, Germany. Darmstadt's not there anymore. I don't know how they can switch up countries like that.
Okay.
It's not there anymore. But I went to Darmstadt, Germany, and I was...
So was Germany a culture shock for you? Because you entered the military at 17, but then you were over in Germany. Like, what kind of culture shock is that?
Not really culture shock because the base is all Americans.
So it's like all inclusive, everybody's, from America.
Right.
Okay.
And then you go off post whenever you like, but it's like if you want to stay on the post and just be with your people, you have everything on post.
Okay.
So it wasn't, and then you just had like slight differences, like you would have to move for an elderly person. If they come on the bus, you would have to give them your seat if you're up front or this, that, and the other.
So just fast forward a little bit, like you say you got pregnant. I know that was probably a whirlwind of emotions and things of that nature. And then you made the decision to come home. What was involved in that decision?
Well, at a certain point when you get pregnant in the military, you have to, when you're overseas, I had to have my plan together by, I believe, 5 or 6 months. I had to have whoever was going to take care of her and this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know these people.
Right.
And so I had ran into some racial things off post too. So I'm like, I'm not feeling that. Okay. I'm just going to go ahead, go home. And I got into it with her father anyways. Okay. So I was like, that's it. I'm out.
So you was out of there, huh? Mm-hmm. So how did your parents receive you when you came back? I mean, you went away, they thinking that they empty nesters, they about to just live life and, all their kids are grown out the house. So how did they receive you when you came back home?
Well, my mom was happy because that's when Desert Storm had launched.
Okay.
So she was like, okay, all right, we'll deal with it. So I got on welfare. Okay. And eventually my mom got me a job at Jeep.
Okay.
With the lottery.
Yeah. For those that don't know that grew up in a factory town, back in the day, the jobs at factories were really limited. I mean, you had to be on the waiting list sometimes, or you had to know somebody. So they came up with a lottery system which allowed, current employees to, if they drew their name, they would have a selection of who they could give that job to. So you got the lottery system, and I know right around that time I was just graduating from high school, and back here in our hometown, private industry council, so they were a way for me to kind of on-road into the factory life, and that is where we met. So that was something.
Definitely something.
So when you met, I mean, it was crazy because just coming from background I came from, I didn't have trust for a lot of individuals, and I know you didn't either. So our common ground at the time was I knew that you didn't need anything from me, and and I didn't need anything from you at the time. So it was kind of like we were just friends and hanging out and things. And then, fast forward, things happen, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So we have 4 daughters. Mm-hmm. And they range from ages 11 to
32 in October 22nd.
32 October 22nd. So that's a huge range, right? Mm-hmm. And we have 2 grandchildren. So what do you think is the biggest difference between raising one, basically an only child, 11-year-old, and then how we had three daughters in the house at the same time?
Well, the 3 daughters were all closer in age.
Mm-hmm.
They could entertain each other, and we didn't have to entertain them. The 11-year-old, we have to plan things out and take her with us on trips and this, that, and other. Grandmother was younger, so she could help out a little bit more.
Yeah.
My mom was still alive, so she helped out a little bit, not too much, but a little bit. But it's just, we've been lifing, so we just have to adapt.
Right, for sure. I know for me, it's like our older daughters, they say we getting soft and we let her do too much. But, she's a good kid. And, I think the biggest thing is just getting her more socialized because she spends so much time with us. And,
Right.
We weren't in the same financial position when the younger 3 were small.
Yeah.
Like you said, I think we were stricter on them because we were young and we had places to be, places to go right now. So when our other kids were young, like you were working outside the home. So, our schedule had to be our schedule.
Right, right.
Everybody got to get up. Everybody got to go. Let's go. But now our younger one is like, she take her time a little bit, because she feel like it's just her and mom. Because, when I had to go away and do what I do. But how you feel about that?
Well, my thing is I think that was a factor in me becoming a housewife, because I grew up as a, latchkey kid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I grew up like that. So it's like I felt like I wanted to be home with my kids.
Okay.
And be there for them. Like if they get sick, I can go pick them up, take them to the hospital.
Right.
Rather than have the nurse tell the nurse, have them lay down, and then, no.
You still a little old school, though, because I know if somebody gets sick, they got to be real sick.
Absolutely, because they'll play games.
But now, unfortunately, since, we went through the pandemic, like, schools don't mess around. You have a sniffle, they send you home right away.
But then don't let them have too many days off.
Right, because then you get a warning saying they missed too much school. But so,
right.
I think everybody, the education system, I think, everybody's getting kind of used to I don't want to say new norm, but how do you navigate when we still have, health things going on, but we still have to get jobs done. We still have to get school done. So it's kind of been crazy. Mm-hmm. Now, I just want to talk about a little bit, like earlier you talked about, having weight issues and struggles. But when you and I talk all the time, you like got a whole lot of knowledge about a lot of, herbs and vitamins and things of that nature. So where did that interest come from?
I'm not sure. I like to study health, period, because I feel like we have doctors and this, that, and other, but I think the Lord has made things for us to heal ourselves.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But I think food is medicine. Mm-hmm. And sometimes when we overindulge in that, we're living, that's what they mean by living to eat instead of eating to live.
Okay. So what's the biggest thing you notice, like when you kind of in your groove and with your eating and your health, or when you're not?
Mm-hmm. I feel better. I actually feel better when I eat plant-based.
Okay.
But it's really hard to do nowadays, especially being that you have a husband and like to eat. It's kind of hard right there. You can't you can't go around eating plants all the time.
No, I did say, like, whatever you make, I eat it, don't I?
That's what you say. But that's not what you do. Your actions speak louder than your words.
What you mean?
Like, if I had some fried chicken, mashed potatoes,
all right,
you know what I'm saying? Some greens with some cornbread.
There we go.
That thing is smashed. It's gone. No matter how much of it is, there it is. But if I give you some vegetables, you put 1 spoonful of vegetables. Not a big spoon though, like like a little tablespoon, maybe 2.
Right.
And then maybe some grilled meat or whatever, but you really don't smash it like that.
So it floats your boat when I smash your food.
Actually, yes. That's my love language, I think.
That's your
Cleaning
love
up,
language?
taking care of people, cooking, cleaning.
Okay. I like that. So let me ask you this: like, you a little reluctant, to come on camera, and a lot of times, I take pictures, and you're like, oh, you taking pictures, but I just want everybody to know, because in the last probably like 2-3 years, I've been getting a lot of people asking me about, things that you and I have going on, because, we get a little older now, and we like to take trips and we like to have fun. But my thing is, I want to show the world that couples can go through, ups and downs, but when we're just living life and just loving on each other, I think that the younger generation, they need to see that. Like we said, we've been married, almost 27 years.
Right.
And I mean, that's like not common for a lot of kids growing up. They trade each other in like cars these days. So I just want to be able to show that you can have a wife, you can, still be active, still be visible, but at the same time, still recognize what we have.
Yeah, I'm a true believer in moving moving in silence. Mm-hmm. Because I feel like people can put their negative energy into your path.
Okay.
Like to slow you down. But with God, though, it's not going to happen, though.
See, a lot of times I feel like we not just you and I, but I think people battle against like the insecurities of yesteryear. Like, I think I don't know who we were talking to, and they were talking about a lot of times our fears are passed down. You know what I mean?
I think we were talking to the marriage counselor.
Okay, like our fears are passed down. Like so, like, if you don't mind me sharing, like your dad, like he had different issues with your mom, and then so a lot of times I feel like, not all the time, but sometimes I feel like you seeing me through a lens that, okay, I don't think that's me. True. You know what I mean? And then I remember you used to always say, like, because, I was crazy about the girls, you'll be like, all right, you can't love nothing too much or the Lord take it away from you. But that's not the oldest person saying that I ever heard in my life. So
selfish too, because then when you think about it and you read the Bible, the Lord is love.
Mm-hmm. So I just think like that fear, like okay, we outside, we showing that we doing good, but then you always hear about the celebrities that got this so-called picturesque relationship, and then you see them getting a divorce, and the thing is like, well, they shouldn't have had all their business, they shouldn't have been all out in the street, they shouldn't have been so visible. But I believe like the greatest trust is to be able to be visible, be able to be seen, but at the same time, like if anybody goes through like our social medias or whatnot, they're going to see the other one. So I don't think like,
What other one?
Each other, girl.
Oh, okay, yeah. You know how I be zoning out. Talk too much.
So you go through our Facebook, they gonna see pictures of you and I, or us and the kids, So it's like, I guess, I've never been one to want to share locations or passwords, because I'm like, if you trust me, you trust me. But I realize that some people had to put those different parameters in place for their own accountability. But I think that, every relationship, it should be individualized. You should have it, like kids have an individualized education plan. I believe that marriages, you have to have an individualized, marriage plan based upon your situation, because I know a lot of generalities are out there now about all men are like this or all women are like that, or he's just working out so he can have muscles to get noticed, or she's just putting on makeup because she wants men to look at her. So it's like so many generalities that come up. Go ahead.
You gotta keep it right and tight, though.
No,
for your significant other.
100%, or for yourself.
Don't nobody want nobody that don't nobody else want. I mean, honestly, seriously, think about it. So I'm just saying, like, you also have to realize that the older you're getting, the more you're still changing. Mm-hmm. Your significant other is always you're going to always have to learn your significant other.
I would agree with that 100%.
because they're always changing and growing, because you have internal and external experiences that mold you.
Right. I know because we both dealt with a loss. So I remember my grandmother died, which raised me for like 7 years of my adolescence. And when she passed away, it was like I grieved, but I think that I just moved on, like, and didn't really properly grieve. And then when your mom had passed and you went through your grief process, that hit you really hard. But at the same time, I don't think that I was equipped, or I didn't have enough information on loss, because, you know, certain things you were going through at that time, I didn't understand. And then once we got years past that, you and I were having a conversation. You told me, you was like, well, you won't understand until you lose your mother. And I was like, I really sat back and I got sort of emotional, because for me, I already had lost a mother. You know, even though me and my biological mom, we have, you know, a great relationship, we reunified, but that piece with my grandmother, you know, would never be like superseded by anything else. So I was like, when you said that, I was just like, wow, I understood where you're coming from in that moment. And it helped me kind of look back on some of the rough patches we went through during those years. And it was like, man, she was grieving and I didn't really know how to help, you know.
See, you knew that before I knew it, because I just learned it today.
You just learned it.
Yep.
What you think? You think that that's valid, or?
It could be.
Okay.
I would have to put myself back into that position to realize what was really going on.
Okay.
But I'm a person that just feel her feelings.
Okay.
And sometimes they're so passionate that I lash out. But that's something I've been working on.
Okay. Yeah, for sure. So what kind of, like, how do you decipher, like, when you, because I know you have a strong sense of discernment. So how do you decipher when?
I'm glad you realize that.
How do you decipher when you discerning something? And then, because I asked you one time, I said, okay, so if you feel somebody's giving off a certain stance or a certain energy, you know, I know energy is like overused right now, but I'm just saying, like, you notice things about a certain person. Like, how do you know whether it's for you to flee them, help them, or pray for them?
Ooh. Well, see, what you said, flee them?
Flee, like get away from them.
Or
help them, or pray for them.
Or tell them about themselves, or show them about themselves.
See, I don't know. See,
that's what I'm saying. See, I have this body language thing too. So if I have something I'm thinking about, I'm going to let you know, especially as a woman. Woman to woman, they could feel me.
Yeah, for sure. But a lot of times I feel like people gravitate towards us, right? And so they want to be around us, but everybody's not in the same, I guess, maturity, or some people they've been doing things for so long, they don't even realize what type of underlying motivation may be behind their actions. So I think sometimes for me, it's like, even with, you know, because, you know, I work with the teenage boys and whatnot. Like, for me, it's like, I know where you are, but I know where I am. And sometimes my boys, they'll cross boundaries. They might cuss me out. They might try to manipulate. They might take advantage. But I already know that I'm not going to do something that I don't want to do.
Oh, you don't do anything you don't want to do. Learned that very, very quick.
But what I said is, so principally, you know, whether it's male, female, you know, adolescent, I already got predetermined, like, what I'm going to do and what I'm not going to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So a lot of times I think, like, you get upset because you might see an adolescent trying to manipulate me, or when our kids are little, even, you know, your own kids try to manipulate you, you know. But I already decide, like, what I'm going to do before the action happens.
But see, we also had problems with that too, because as a couple, you're supposed to let your kids know that you're one. Whatever happens, everything is going to happen, and we're going to respond in the same way.
But you can't, because we're still different people.
But my thing is we have to have that connection with each other before we connect with the kids and let them know what's going on. Because if you're going this way and I'm going that way, kids see that.
Right.
And they'll pit us against each other.
No, I agree with that 100%.
So you have to show them that we're in unity in the decision and have to stick to that.
Right. But, as parents, a lot of times, mom or dad will make a decision, and before it was in unity, and they just want the other parent to back them up.
True.
You
I mean, sometimes you have to do that because, like you said, we're individuals. We might have the kids separately or whatever. Yeah, sometimes you have to do that, and you have time to, go talk it out. But
Yeah. Because I know for our kids, like, when the older ones were smaller, like you was the strict one.
Still am.
You was like the super, like, no-nonsense parent. You know what I mean?
And we were Christian, too. We were baby Christians,
We still
too.
Christians.
No, I mean, but we were baby Christians. So we was really on it.
Oh, yeah, we was like, cut that off, turn that off.
Can't
don't
watch no Harry Potter. Can't do this. Can't do that.
For sure. So I know we had struggle because, like you said, we were young and we were just taking our experiences from the past, how we came up, trying to incorporate them in this faith thing that we had and trying to get the interpretations from the people that were like, at that time was really old school. Like our church was old school. You got in trouble for wearing pants.
I know. But see, when I gained that baby weight, they wasn't saying nothing. I could look a mess. I must have been looking cute.
So I say that to say, we grew. And it's still a process because having grown children it's not always easy either. Because now you have this adult sometimes that needs you, but then at the same time trying to tell you what to do or how they need you or what you can say. You have different boundaries in this relationship than you had anticipated. Like a lot of times I had to sit back with our girls and they have relationships and it's like, not just one that's been having problems with a relationship, but all three of them. I found myself like trying to find where the line is to kind of input, without them pulling away. Because adults, they retreat quick.
You know what though? They're gonna always come back. My thing is my entire family has told me to pull back because I was putting in like, you shouldn't be doing this, or you should do a little bit more of this, or this, that, and the other. Girls were like, Mom, well, you shouldn't have said that way, or you shouldn't have said it at that time. But I'm like, but I said it and you're grown. You're not a kid anymore. So I shouldn't have to sugarcoat whatever I say to you because you're a grown-up.
Yeah, but then they were like, well, I'm a grown-up, so I could talk to you like a grown-up.
Okay. And will.
Yeah.
And have.
But at the same time, like, it's certain way I won't talk to my mom no matter what.
Exactly. There it is. That old school. But we're not growing up in that age, Mom. They're telling me that there's a thing, what's it called? Called, what is that thing they told me it was called? When they reteach us how to treat them.
How to be parent, teach your parent how to parent or something like that.
Yeah. What is that? Who does that?
I don't know. I heard you say that in that saying before, but I would have to really look into that and see what that actually means because they might be misinterpreting that too.
No, I've heard that before. And that's a thing that therapists tell kids or your adult children.
Okay. Well, say how do you say it again?
They act like we're not supposed to. They're supposed to teach us how to treat them as adults.
So I know you once you feel like somebody trying to teach you something without you knowing you being taught. You don't like that.
Who told you that?
I'll be noticing that. Like you be like, I see what you trying to do. You trying to show me something.
That's you. That's you because you come at me sometimes like the boys.
What you mean?
Like, you know how you do the boys? Like, this is a life lesson. You should do it this way. Do. No.
What?
No, sir. No, sir. 52, it's already there.
Well, if I'm right, though.
You are right. Sometimes, but sometimes you're not.
Okay.
Or it doesn't apply to me. Because sometimes, even as a human being, everybody gets misunderstood.
Right.
So it's like, just because you know me, you don't know me, you know?
Okay. So you had to get to the intent.
I guess. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Everything is intentional.
Okay.
Everybody said, see, that's why I don't really talk usually, is because I feel like just talking to be talking,
Right.
that's just a waste of time and energy.
Okay.
I have to talk with purpose. I have to speak with purpose. I have to have something to say that's gonna change my environment.
I got you. But you must like to listen though, because you listen your YouTube people that you like, they be rambling about nothing.
That's tails. What do you mean?
Those I'm not gonna name no names.
Okay, but I'm learning from them too, because I might one day want to launch a YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm.
That's the end goal for me.
Okay.
So I'm learning from them. But usually it's like you have cleaning inspirations, you have just people just living life. And you're just like, okay, I see you. And then you might see yourself in some of those people. And you're like, I'm not alone.
Right, for sure. But you gotta admit, sometimes they could talk for a whole hour.
Oh, yeah,
just
absolutely.
to the camera about not too much.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Because if I was saying the same thing they would say, you've been told me be quiet.
Yeah, but I pushed play on them.
Oh, you press pause and play? Okay, I got you. Okay, so 2 cups, right? It's one for the wake, one for the work.
One for the shakes.
What's that mean? What? The shakes.
That third would get me shaky.
So one for the wake, one for the work. And the meaning behind it, as you probably heard ad nauseum, is the wake is what's waking you up in the morning, what's inspiring you, what are you dreaming about, and the work is what steps are you taking in that direction. So do you have anything that's just really that you big vision idea that's just waking you up that you want to get to, and what do you think the first step is to get to it?
All right. I wake up in the morning for my family. My family is most important to me. What I do, what?
No, I got that. That's a good start, but it's some things that you got some dreams and visions for.
Oh, I absolutely
for Maya
do.
too. So
I do. I have a lot of self-care going on right now.
There we go.
I'm pretty much revamping myself.
Okay.
Like I'm in the Bible more.
Yeah.
I'm praying more. I'm trying to eat better.
Okay.
Trying to work out. Working on some of my weaknesses.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. And then, so are you doing that solely for you, or is that something that? Because I know you had mentioned you were thinking about launching a YouTube channel. Like what is that something that you're going to incorporate into that, or?
Oh yeah, I think that would be something to be. I think it could be therapeutic actually.
Okay.
Because being that I'm not a big talker,
Right.
I think that would help me out.
Okay.
Because I'm not right there with as many people that's going to see it.
Right. So if they was like sitting in a room with you, you might feel away. But
yeah.
if you could record it and edit it and then really put it out, and you can kind of like be okay with that. Mm-hmm. Okay. Because this was a big step for you to come on here.
You ain't never lied.
I saw you kind of like trying to figure out a way if you was going to try to tell me no.
I was too. See, you do know me.
But I'm glad you came on because, like I said before, man, the biggest part of my life, you know what I'm saying? Like our kids, when they were young and I was young, I thought everything was about the kids. And we both did. Mm-hmm. The kids. We rarely went on dates and we rarely did anything by ourselves, but we spent a lot of time, most of the time as a family. And I remember we used to get into it because you'll be like, you don't spend any time with me. You don't spend any time with me. And I'm like, what are you talking about? We just went to the zoo with the kids. We just, took the kids to Disney. We just did this, did that. Mm-hmm. And it was just like, but I didn't understand then, but just you and I being able to get away now, which is really only in the last 2 years.
Man.
Maybe.
It's been a blast.
So this is the first time that we ever went away by ourselves, without one of our kids. And it was crazy. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, okay, now I get it.
Right. 2 bad. I think younger people should get it, though, at first. Because the way we got married, though, we did already have children, and I was pregnant. So it's like we had just Asia. And Aloy was on the way.
Right.
But my thing is I think if you do it the correct way, you do the dating correctly. And then you go to the marriage counselor correctly. And you learn each other just a little bit more each day.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And know what each other's goals are. And go over it over and over again, because it's like a business plan. It's always changing.
Always changing, for real.
So you gotta learn what your partners what inspires them and what their goals are. And just continually go over that. But people that just, I'm just going to marry him because he's fine and got money. Or I'm just going to marry him because this, and that, and the other. No, you got to marry.
Or get married because you're getting older now. I got to get married because the clock is ticking.
Right.
I got to have kids, or I got to do this, or I got to do that.
We got to understand that things are not done in our time, but God's time.
Okay.
Maybe you're not ready.
Right.
Like you pray for money, right? Oh, I need me $1 million, right? But you don't pray on how to be a good steward. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
You have to pray for that stuff.
Yeah.
Else that's how these dang on lottery ticket winners
go broke.
They don't get no advisors to help them out or anything.
Yeah, for sure. And I think like what you're saying about, you have to pray. And then I think you have to also be in tune with who you put around yourselves, or kind of where you go to get the information. Because you can learn from YouTube, you can learn from experts, you can learn from, kids even these days. Because, our daughter knows some things about, social media, or kind of more so YouTube than, I even pay attention to.
Yeah, but being that the era that we're in, this is the information era. So we can get information. Anybody can be a millionaire.
Especially with that AI. Like, I was kind of really against it, but I asked it a couple of questions just to kind of spark some ideas in myself, and I was like, oh, man.
Yep.
That was all right.
Yep. So it's like anybody can be wealthy if you want to be wealthy. You can learn anything you want to learn, just like Daryl over there. Daryl learns all his stuff. He didn't go to school. He learned that on his own. He's self-taught, and he's good at what he does.
So I don't know if Daryl didn't go to school.
You go to school, Daryl?
No.
Right.
Oh, okay. All right, I was going to say, she's putting Daryl on there. But
if I had a camera, I'd be like, Daryl?
That's all right. That's all right. So what steps do you see yourself taking towards your big vision of getting a YouTube launch in the next 90 days? Go.
Oh, no, you didn't. Okay, let's do this. All right. I think I'm going to start videoing, taking little clips and this, that, and the other, and just practicing in front of the camera, writing down some content that I plan on putting on. I'm a planner, so I'm not like you. You just do things like, bam, I'm going to do it, let's do it. But I'm not like that. I have to plan it out, write it out, and I got to feel it too. So I can't just go on my phone and get on my notes. I got to feel it and write it.
Oh, you got to get some papyrus or something like that.
Huh?
And the wax pen, the paper and the feather pen.
Okay. You're too much.
Okay, so what do you need any help doing anything? What you thinking?
Maybe I need a cameraman. But what are your goals?
Wait a minute, this is my show. I'm trying to, you know what I'm saying? One for the wake, one for the work for my guests, not me. We can talk about that later.
Oh, okay. On my YouTube channel.
But I would like to, just continue to have, high quality caffeinated conversations and grow the brand to the point where I'm getting involved in more than just podcasting. I want to do the merch. I want to do potentially launch my own coffee line. I've been talking with an individual, that has contacts in Central America, and he was telling me about a farmer in Honduras and how he's got this great mission with the coffee, and maybe about learning about roasting my own beans, and just seeing where that will go. I would like to be on other influencers as far as podcasters, get to a point where I can talk about my podcast or what I'm doing, and as well as talk about what they're doing. So yeah, we got a couple things,
Nice.
Yeah,
You always thinking about something. Yeah, you like to be in front. I mean, you're a social person. I can't take that from you. But me, on the other hand, I got to work at that thing.
I think the first step is just acknowledging that you be comfortable being uncomfortable, because it might seem like I'm a social person, but certain things bring me discomfort. But I already know it's kind of like when I played football, it was like you get the butterflies or the jitters, and then once they kick the ball off, now it's time to hit. So I get the same feeling every time though, but I know that feeling is coming, and I just don't let it just keep me in that one position. I know that, okay, I'm gonna feel like this, I'm gonna be anxious, I'm gonna be unsure, but then, man, when they kick the ball, that whistle blow, or when that camera comes on, I know I gotta get past that feeling to convey what I think is important.
Growth is uncomfortable.
Yes, ma'am. So I just really want to thank you for coming. And it's not going to be your last time. I mean, maybe I'll be on your podcast one day or your content, because, I hope you hold on to that name, though. I'm Two Cups and you Mocha Maya.
I'll be that.
So once again, just thank you. I love you, and just really appreciative of everything that you bring to my life and how you've been with me, stood by me over the years. And I've had a lot of ideas and a lot of things that didn't get off the ground, but you still there. But
here we are.
Yes, ma'am.
But
God. So just to all my viewers and all my listeners, I would just like to encourage you. The Bible says that he who finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains favor from the Lord. And I've definitely been walking in his favor, and I just appreciated of that. And man, till next time, I just like to encourage you to subscribe, to peruse around and grab you a little merch, grab you a coffee cup, grab you a shirt, and we'll be coming back with more highly qualitative, I don't know if that's a word, but high quality caffeinated conversation. See, I'm already into my third cup, so I might was talk about the jitters, but I'm just excited and I'm just so appreciative. Until next time, 2 cups.